Yeah, Femi, we're live now.
Hello everyone, good evening. Welcome to another office hours. Yeah, so the office hours is just to take your questions about Python generally. Doesn't have to relate to your task or anything that's you've been taught or not been taught, right? Just ask questions generally based on Python.
Yeah, Femi, we're live now.
Yes, I started. Can you hear me?
Hello everyone, good evening. Welcome.
So this is how we do it. If you have a question, you just signify by raising your hand, and I would request you on mute, and then you can ask your question. So yeah, so basically that is it. So if you have a question, just signify by raising your hand. Ife.
Hello.
Hi, Destiny.
So my question is that this Python and writing Python code with the Django, so everything is for the back end, and we can also use templates, I know, but can we also link the Django apps with React?
Yeah, sure. That is possible via so that would mean you're creating like APIs for your React app to consume. So
Okay.
yeah, of course, that is possible.
Okay.
So you are going to I think in next 2 or 3 weeks you're going to start with Django REST framework. So Django REST framework is used for building REST APIs in Django. So yeah, of course. Did I answer your question? I think you muted already. Anyways, Ife. Hello, Ife. Can you unmute and ask your question? Is it there? I'm not sure it's there. Okay, Destiny again.
Okay, sorry. My question is that when we use the Django REST framework to build up the APIs and probably connect to our React app, can we choose to use no SQL databases like MongoDB to build our database?
With MongoDB, it's possible, right? Or you have to. It's possible. Personally, I haven't tried it before. You would have to like download some packages with Django. So I'm sure if you Google it, but it's possible, right, to connect your MongoDB database with Django.
So
I think there is some sort of documentation on MongoDB website itself, so you can check.
Personally, which databases do you recommend?
Postgres works well with Django and my SQL or MySQL, right?
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Sorry, Manuel Adebi.
Good evening.
Hi, Emmanuel. How are you?
I'm fine. I'll be trying to solve the assignment I gave to regarding Django model. So I was trying to use Django admin to create the app, but it wasn't working. It was telling me that Django admin wasn't recognized. And I tried using pip install Django admin installed, and trying to use it again to create a Django file. It didn't work.
There's a background noise there, so I'm not really getting you. Can you come again with your question, Emmanuel?
Okay. Regarding my question, I said I was trying to create an Django admin regarding the assignment you gave to us, but it was telling me that Django admin wasn't recognized. So I tried using pip install Django admin, then try and use Django admin to create another app, but it wasn't working also.
So it's you couldn't install Django, right? Did you install Django? Because once you install Django, you should be able to run Django admin command. So you have to check that Django is installed, right?
It was installed. It was installed.
How were you sure? How did you know it was installed? How did you check that?
I used pip freeze to check for it.
Okay, cool. So what command were you running?
I was running Django admin, something create project, then the name of that file.
Okay, to start a Django admin project, you will do Django dash start project, right? Not Django admin. For task. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Django dash admin, then start project. So it's not like it's one. I don't know how you were writing it. It's not as if it's one sentence. Django dash admin space start project and the name of your project. So that's.
Well, I've used that concept in the past, and the video done by I think Mimi and Femi. I don't know. It's worked. That what they used because I was following that video to create my own app regarding the assignment. It worked when I used back then, but now it's not.
Yeah, if it works, then it's going to work now. So just keep trying.
So, is there going to be like a form of tutorial regarding the assignment to help the staff student? Because I'm just starting to learn Python. Huh?
Which of the assignments?
The Django model and the Django URL.
Yeah, I'm sure there's going to be a sort of correction or something after the deadline.
Wow, what of before the deadline?
No, I don't think the correction can be done before then.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. All right. Before I go to the next question, please just give me a second. I'll be back. All right, there's a question in the chat. Hi Femi, can you go over the task, please? Which of the tasks are you referring to, below? Then Ife, please go ahead.
Okay, good evening. So my question is actually very simple. For the responsive layout for the Hodl landing page, right? We are not specified to use either JavaScript or Python for it, but we were told to make a responsive form. Sorry, for the form landing, not the huddle page. I just remembered. We're told to make a responsive form that reacts whenever we type something wrong. And I saw someone's work. The person used JavaScript, and the tasks I've been given on my full stack parts, I have not been taught JavaScript at all. So I'm asking, how do I use Python to verify or auto validate the forms in the forms landing page?
What kind of validation are you referring to now? When you say
Okay.
validation?
Error. Should I call it error handling? From what I saw there, from the mock-up, the picture we were shown, when you type the wrong name or the wrong username, it's supposed to show a little pop-up icon at the end of the form to show that, oh, this thing you wrote there is wrong. But you can't. I've not been able to do that using just HTML and CSS alone. And from the full stack part I've been taking so far, I have not seen any course that has to do with JavaScript, which I know they usually use for that. I was supposed to use JavaScript, or I was supposed to use Python for that.
This particular task is front-end task or back-end? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Is it front-end or back-end task?
No, I'm in full stack.
Yeah, the task, is it?
The task is a front-end task.
Python task. Okay.
No,
so
no,
I'm not sure I can give you like a very correct answer to that. So if it is a front end, then I'm sure whatever the mentors want you to implement would be in HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So
but I have not been taught any JavaScript, because from what I've been seeing so far, curriculum for full stack, I've not seen anything that has to do with JavaScript. That's my own question here. Should I just use JavaScript instead, since I know a little bit of JavaScript?
I can't answer that question. So whatever your mentors wanted to use, I'm sure they would have specified in the task description. So if you go over it again, or just ask on the front-end channel, right?
Okay, I'll do that.
Yeah. Thank you, Efe. You see, you can't hear me. I don't know if I think you're the only one. Just check your audio devices, right? Kevin, go ahead.
All right. Thank you. I wanted to just see for that Ife's question just now. I think something I've noticed over the period of this whole process is that whenever we are given a task, it's usually a little bit ahead of the what's it called now? It's usually a little bit ahead of what we've been taught, so that we could get sometimes most of the parts is let's say what we've been taught, then a little bit extra, so that we could just go, because I think that's the next topic we're supposed to be getting into in that front end. That's the reason why they asked us to do something like that. It's not like it's compulsory, or so that we could get an handle on so we can try out different methods, and when the person comes and try correcting, we move into the other topic. That's just what I wanted to add. Thank you.
Hi, good evening. Hello. Hello, can you hear me?
Sorry, I was muted. Go ahead.
Okay. We're supposed to have a class on Monday about models and migration. That's related to the task we're given. And due to network issues, we're not able to have class. I was wondering if you could explain models and migration today.
I couldn't really hear you very well, Ife. Can you just come again? Hello?
Okay, I said we're supposed to have a class on Monday for models and migration.
Mm-hmm.
But we were unable to have the class due to network issues. And we have a task for that. So I don't know if you could like explain a little bit about models and migration today.
All right. Explain environment. Okay, so models are. Do you want me to like show you an example or just explain like literal explanation? Muted again.
Yes, I'm here. I went and mute my mic. Yes, I was doing like if you could like show an example of it. Create like an app, then make models and migration stories. I'd like to see it. Thank you.
Okay, so models in Django, they are like a way for you to like store your information, right? And so I'm just going to do like a quick demo. This is not a class. This is just like let me see. Okay. Can you see my screen? I think you should be able to see my screen. So let me just look for a Django project. Okay, let me use this. Can you see my screen? Just drop a chat if you can see my screen. So I want to be sure. All right. So I have a project on my GitHub. So I just opened it up in code spaces, right? So let me see. I think I have models in here. All right, so this is an example of a model, right? And So basically models, as I said, models are ways to like store your data, like to create your data in like a database in Django. And for you to do that, you have to create like a model class. So you have to create a class. There is a model class you can inherit from Django. And so the way it works is when you create a class, so you have to give it a name, right? And for example, you are creating a post, and a post in this case is like a post for a blog or something. In your post, you want to have an author field, title field, like different fields that you want to have on in that post. Like when you create a post, what are the fields that are related to that post? A blog, right? You have an author of a post, the title of a post, the body, and like other things. So basically, a model is what you use to store that. And when you create a model and you want to view it in your admin, you just need to do admin.site.register here. You import the model, of course, and then you register it. And when you do that and you run, so let me just open a new terminal. Do I need to actually install anything? Okay. Okay, so I have to install Django. So to create a virtual environment, right? VUNV, virtual env. I'm sure you are familiar with that already. And activate the environment. So this is for Linux, by the way. env/bin/activate. Right? So I have virtual environment and I want to install Django. Right? Okay. Can you hear me now? Like, is this better? I see a lot of people are complaining. I think this should be better now. Okay, this is better. I think the earpiece was bad. I wasn't able to hear you very well. That was why I used the earpiece. But I think, yeah. So let me just continue. So I installed Django, right? And I wanted to make migrations, no changes, and then I migrate. So by the way, I'm using GitHub code spaces. You can check it out. It's very fast to like run your code. You don't need to start cloning before you run the code. Yeah, so I made migrations and I migrated, and I want to create a super user so I can access my admin. So create super user, and I'll call this admin. Right. So you run your server. So when you run your server here, you should be able to access the admin, and yep, we open up this. Okay. All right, so welcome to my blog app. Yeah, you're welcome. And I'm going to the admin. I log in, right? Okay, so forbidden your blah blah blah. Ouch. So I think I'll need to add this to okay, I'll need to add this to trusted. How do I do that? outposts. I don't think this will work because there should be support for like HTTPS. I don't think this is going to work. But let me just try it out. Right. So it's localhost. This thing actually wants me to clone. Genix, I believe. All right. So let me just go into my localhost then. All that stress. Should be able to open this directly. Yes. But anyways, I think I explained what models are. So those are models, and when you want to view in admin, right? So let me just open up a project that I think is Django. Okay. So like when you add your models to, so you see basically something like this. You'll be able to like create. So for example, you'll be able to create here we have auto title, blah blah blah. So when you add it to your Django admin, you would see auto and everything here, and you will like create perform code operations from the admin side. So basically, GitHub code spaces, yeah, things better. Okay, right. Stop sharing. Okay. Where is if it's I think.
Okay. Yeah, thank you.
Right. I'm sure when you take the class, right, you will be able to understand.
Better, yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
What I really wanted to know was the also creating a using a user model to create a foreign key. I didn't really know how to do that.
I can't hear you.
Okay, we were asked to create an also like in the class for the post. We make we make an auto and we assign a foreign key using user model something function.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and I don't know how to write that out.
So you don't know how to create a user model or?
No. I understand how to create a user model now, but
Okay.
under the class, there's supposed to be like you have titles, you have date created, and author.
Mm-hmm.
And we're supposed to use a unique foreign key
Right.
to create author. You understand what I'm saying now?
Yeah, I know. So have you checked this? Have you checked like all this online?
I checked online. I googled it, but I could not different functions and I could not get it. So
Okay, so one hint is for each of those as I showed you like in the posts that you can create field for all of those like all of those things you mentioned. Title, you have to create a field. Created art, you have to create a field as I showed.
yeah,
So basically
I created that.
simple. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Adeni G.I.
Good evening.
Good evening, bro.
Yes, please. My question is not actually based on the back end. It's actually based on the front end assignment I was given. We were asked to design two what's it called now? Two things. One of which we are to use Flex layout, flex grid layout, while a flex layout rather, flex box layout. While the other one we are to use grid box layout.
I bet that's a Python related question.
Okay, just Python related questions. Okay. I at least I believe to an extent you should be able to. I only want to like make a clarification.
Okay, go ahead.
So I don't know. We were asked to create to design those two things using flex and using grid. So, but my question is that since we are to create both using what's it called now? Using CSS, are we to make use of just one CSS for the two, or we make use of separate CSS for each of them? So that is actually my.
So are you creating like two different pages, right?
Yes, we are creating two different pages.
You have to use Flexbox for one, and you have to use Grid for the other.
Exactly.
I think it will make sense for you to have two separate CSS files.
Two separate CSS?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Anthony.
Yeah, hello, good evening.
Hi.
Yeah, can you just, I don't know, maybe briefly go through classes and functions again? Let's just go through classes, particularly classes. Maybe just a short example or something, just show us.
You're muted. That's rude. So you have to.
Sorry? I didn't hear what you said.
Huh?
I didn't get what you said.
You said, can I go through functions and classes again?
Well, just classes in particular.
So what in classes is, do you not understand? Like,
okay, so how to actually
like
compose a class, then how to I think the major difficulty is when you compose a class that takes in multiple inputs. So how to call them, I think that's my major difficulty to do.
Okay, so you have, okay, so I'm trying to understand your question, but I would share my screen 1 second.
Okay.
All right. So
okay.
Right. So can you, I'm going to initialize the class, right? So I believe you can do that. So I want to understand like your question. Is it to initialize, when you initialize a class, what do I even call this? Right? And you have your,
So I said my,
Yes, go ahead.
So say that's a class that takes in multiple function and multiple inputs. So how to call them?
Multiple input. What do you mean by multiple inputs?
So maybe like a class that a class for maybe students or for students that takes in their name, age, score, location, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So how to actually compose that kind of class and then call them.
So I want to believe you understand what you're seeing on your screen right now.
You could just explain, please.
Like what?
So you could just to explain, please. Not just for my sake, maybe for others too.
Explain. So
No, I'm saying
we have a
maybe
class
to others
initialization
too.
here, and we have a constructor method. What this method does is you have to initialize the variables here when you are creating an instance of a class. So this is an instance of a class created here. You can create more than one instances, right, of a class. So these are like 3 different instances, and you can initialize these instances with different name and objects, right? So you can see age is 12 and name is Femi. You can see age is 20 and name is, you can see age is 24, right? So so I have created 3 different instances of class student, right? And if I should print out, so I can access the variables, like from the variables I initialize with, I can access them from this instance, right? So this is like a very simple initialization of class. Now we have like a method to display age, right? How do you display age? You can just maybe print out, let's just print out so dot age, right? If you need the Zoom link, just check the Python channel. Right. So what is happening here? I created 3 different instances of class, right? And I created a method to display the age. At the same time, I'm accessing the variables I created at self.name, right? From here with the self attribute, right? So you can see when I printed out those instances of the display age and everything, you would see it's printing out like what the values I initialized them with. So I think do you understand, like
I do to some extent. But just one last thing, please. Why do you have the F?
I would want to really understand what part of classes and objects you don't understand, because it's like it's broad, right? So yeah, so go to your next question.
Okay, why do you have F before this is self.name?
This is string formatting. String formatting, you can check it out.
Okay.
Yep.
So is F like a variable or F is a constant there?
This F.
Yes.
It's string formatting, I said, you can Google it.
Okay, I'll check that.
Yep. So I'm going to take questions from the chat. I don't know if there are questions. Okay, the questions. I think any is doing justice to that. I'm sorry, I can't pronounce your name, but I've asked you to unmute. So, Tembo.
Hello, good evening.
Hi, how are you?
I'm all right, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, so I have a question, and the question is this: when installing Django, by default, it installed version 3, and I would love to work with the latest version, which is 4. So do I have to upgrade from version 3 to version 4?
If you want the latest version, you just do pipe. If you want the latest version, you install Django. It will install the latest version of Django.
Sorry?
If you want the latest version of a package, you just run pip install the package name, right? When you pip install the package name, it will install the latest version of that package.
Okay, so what you mean is that if I
want to install Django, right? You want to install Django. The latest version of Django is 4, right? So pip install Django will install the latest version of Django.
All right. Now, if I run again, pip install Django, which is the second time because I already have the version 3, is it gonna be okay?
I'm not sure I understand your question.
Okay. You said I have to just run pip install Django, then it's going to install the latest version of Django, which is version 4, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so my question is this: if I run this command again, I already have version 3. So will it conflict or it's all right?
If you install it again, I think it will override the previous installation, right?
Okay. All right, sure. That's what I wanted to find out.
Right, thank you. But you can experiment that to be sure. Just try it. Ibrahim. There's a question from YouTube. Design manager says without string formatting, will it work? Without string formatting, I'm not really sure about that question. Are you saying when I try to? Sorry, I'll get to Brian.
Okay.
So are you saying when I try to like print this out without using this F, will it work? To just print out like I'm not sure it will work. So it wouldn't work. Let's see. It's just print out like normal string or to throw up, and yeah, it's just print out self.h, self.h, blah, blah, blah. So you have to format it. There are different different ways to format string. You can do this dot format. You can use the dot format method. So self dot name self dot h. Yeah, though I already say you should Google this, bro. Yep. So I think if we run this now, then you'll be able to. Yep. So we have. So that's another way to format string. Ibrahim, can you go ahead?
Okay. Please, one of the assignment, the task that we are given that we have to do. Now, we are to create a model in the app that we are going to create. So I don't understand that how we can create a model.
How to create a model?
Yes.
Probably you need to watch this particular session again from the beginning because I literally just answered that question.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Good evening, sir.
Hi.
Yeah. Okay. So, when you were going over the classes, so I've always been confused about the term constructor and a method in a class. So I just want to clarify, a constructor is a method, right? But it's a method that enforces initialization of an instance of a class. That's just what I want to confirm.
Yeah, a constructor is a method, right? It is used for instantiating objects, right? So it's like
Oh,
use initialization of values for that particular class.
okay. That's just what I wanted to clarify. Thanks, sir.
Sure, thank you. Okay, so I think I have I have a question in the chat. That's Femi, when I run pip install, it is when I call a function, how do I make it display my answer? You have to like have a return statement in the function. Dockers have a return statement, right? So I guess that would work for you. When I run pip install Django, it can't install Django. It says this pip install Django default into user installation package. Requirements already satisfied. Yeah. You would get requirement. Okay, so do this run pip install Django, right? And then install it again. Yeah, requirement already satisfied. Okay.
Hi. Hi, good evening. Okay, so my question is still on these classes and functions. I understand it to a point, but there was a time I wanted to utilize it, I think in our rock, paper, scissors task. So I don't know if it's possible, if that was the right function I was to use there. So I wanted to call like one of the variables, like instead of printing just R, I would assign rock to R. So if a player picks R, it will print rock instead. Or if a player picks P, it will print paper instead. If a player picks S, to print scissors instead. So how do we utilize it there in that instance?
Right. Functions. I don't know how your code logic is. I think that's a logical error. So you need to check that. But
okay.
for rock paper scissors, right? To implement some sort of function based. So I would say you have a function that like starts off the game, right? And that same function takes like user input. And you have like another function that maybe generates like or randomly pick an option for the computer, right?
Yeah.
And then you have another function to like check the both input and compare and return. So basically you can have 3 functions and they will be reusable, right, throughout the code. So,
yes.
Yeah.
No, I understand that. I don't think you got my question. So the 3 options are rock, paper, and scissors. Now, I don't want my player to type in rock fully, or type in paper fully, or type in scissors fully. The player is going to put in R, P, or S, or one, just whatever variable I'm assigning to rock, paper, or scissors. Now, after the player puts in their input, I want the game to print what they picked in full. So instead of printing just R or just P, I want to print rock or paper or scissors, as the case may be.
Yeah, so as I said, it's based on the logic, right? You assign to it. So if you want the user to like input R, so you can do something like this. I'm just trying to think of something off my head now. User input. So you want user to pick so the rock equals, so normally it should be rock, but if the input's like small r, then it should also choose rock, right?
Yeah, the upper.
Okay, so I would say you can do you can do something like this, right? Let me see. You can have a list, right? And you check user input. So right, and when the user inputs are checked, just check if inputs, if user in choose rock, right? So do you understand like what I'm trying to do?
Yes, I understand. Okay, I understand all that. I understand that.
It's still not what you are referring to.
No. So say the user did not type in rock. The user is not typing in rock. The user is typing just R.
Yes.
So I have assigned a variable to rock already. And is that variable the user is picking?
I'm not sure I get. You assign
You don't
a
get my
variable to rock.
question.
Okay, you assign a variable to rock. And what is that variable? What is the variable?
R, just R, letter R.
R, okay. And then?
Yes.
So
paper is P, scissors is S.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So the player is inputting either R or P or S. But when it's printing, so that where you put print, you chose rock. When it's printing, I want to print out those things in full. So I want to print out what's the word now? Like whatever was assigned to those variables, but not the variable.
You want it to print out, if it is rock, you want to print out R.
No, I want it to print out rock. The player inputted R, but I want it to print out rock.
Yeah, you can see, you can do it like this. Or wait, you want it to print out, if the player inputted R, you just print out rock now.
So that's the thing. We don't know what the player is picking, whether the player is picking R or P or S.
You will check if user is equals to, if user inputs, right, is equals to rock.
So I have to have if statements for all of them.
To check, yes.
Yeah.
In your case, in the case of what you have implemented, yes. Right.
Okay. I'm not sure this exactly explains it, but I think I'll get it sometime. It's okay. All right. Thank you.
Okay. I think I know what she's talking about. Okay, Christopher, I'm going to allow you on mute, so maybe you can explain.
Okay, so hello everyone. I think I know what she's talking about. So she's talking about like an easier way for the user choice to be reflected like options. So in my own opinion, I think one of the easiest way that she could possibly do that is using like dictionaries. So she can map out the choices that are available to the actual names. So she can say, a particular dictionary, you have a key as R, then the value will be rock, then S, the key will have a value of scissors. So something like that, that's in the easiest form that she can go. So that's my opinion.
when you have the options, so what happens now?
So when she gets
the dictionary, right? So,
yes, so when she gets the user's options, dictionaries allow get, so she can run through the user's option through a get for that particular dictionary.
Okay, now she's saying if the user inputs R, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I think I understand. So if
the user inputs R, so the dictionary is going to check if he has a key called R. So once he gets that key, it's going to return the value
if user
attached to
notes in options, those keys, right?
Yeah, you could do that.
Yeah, so you check the keys, right? If the option is not there, invalid choice. If the option is there, right,
Yeah,
then
you
it
don't
is
give
right. If
valid.
user option in keys, then you say print
You print options dot options
Okay,
dot
so I
yeah.
okay,
So
so I do
print
option dot
options.
keys instead.
Okay, so is this what you were referring to, like?
Yeah, this is what I was referring to exactly.
All right. Okay. So, but do you understand the logic behind this?
Yeah, I understand that.
Okay, cool. Thanks very much, Christopher. I think you still have a question. Leon is raised.
No, I do have. I'll raise my hand now. I just wanted to contribute.
So, do you still have? I'll just call you Amy.
Amy, yeah.
Yeah, Amy.
Okay, I think that's it. Thank you.
Yeah, that's it. Okay, thank you.
I'll try it. Yeah. Thank you.
Right. Yeah, so there's no and or okay. I have like something to share with you guys. It's how do I put it? It's like some uncommon some things that happen in Python. You think, okay, when I implement this should happen, right? And in most cases, it is what is expected to happen. But then you see you're actually getting a different result, right? So I want to share an example of that here. So I think I'm done with this. Okay, let me just leave this. Okay. So I have a function foo xy words. Yeah, by the way, for the code completion thing is GitHub Copilots. So in case you see code doing completing by itself, right? So print out, right? If length of y, okay. Thank you for that. And what I want to do, I want to call this, right? Foo. I'm going to call one. Passing lists, I'm going to pass an empty list, right? I'm going to call passing two items in the list, right? So I want someone to come up now and tell me what the output of this will be, right? So what do you think the output would be? Like anyone can just raise up their hand. So I will unmute person. Anyone? I think you guys have done functions already now. So why is no one raising up their hand? Offensive, right?
Hey, I find the even number and print it out. That's what the function is doing. It's adding numbers to the list twice and trying to get
I can't hear you.
Okay, the function is adding numbers, the values in X to the list Y. Then it will now print out.
I'm finding it very hard to hear you. What I want you to do, first explain this from line 1 to 3. What is happening in line 1 to 3?
Let me explain. Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, this is better.
Okay, I was using my headset. Okay, for the first line, that's the definition. You define the function. Okay. There's two variables, X and Y is a list.
Okay.
Then you are adding the values you get from X to Y to the list y. Then for your return statement, you are saying and telling the function to print out the even numbers.
Okay.
To check
Sorry,
if
come
the
again.
number
Come
is
again.
the
Come
number
again.
x. To check,
Come
sorry.
again. Line 3.
Okay, that's the return statement.
Yes.
Okay. It will check if the length of y, that's the value, that length of y. Okay, the value in x. If it's the modulus, that's if you divide it by 2, the remainder. Is it not supposed to check if it's equal to 0 to know if it's even or odd?
All right.
Sorry.
Thanks for that. Go ahead.
Okay. Okay, so it's checking if it's even or odd. Then it will print out if it's odd. Else it will print out even if it's even. Okay,
so
sorry, I guess it's like checking the length. Sorry, it's checking the length of the list. Then it's going to print out if it's even or if it's odd. Right.
So what is if it's checking the length of the list? If the
Yes,
remainder
the
is
list,
0,
right.
it prints out
Even. It's a
print
print
out,
out even.
Right,
But
out.
if the modulus of it is not 0, it will print out odd.
Okay, cool. So what do you think the output of line 5, 6, and 7, and 8? What do you think the output will be?
Line 5. Okay, first, it will print out even.
Even. Right.
For line 4.
Even.
Because initially there are already 3 values in the list. Then it adds 4 to it. There are 3 values already in the list.
I'm talking about line 5.
Okay, no, I'm talking about line 4.
There's nothing on line 4.
Sorry. Okay, sorry. I'm counting. I counted it. Sorry. Okay, line 4. It will print out. No, that will not run because the number of variables is not equal. It will print out an error.
What would this print out? This highlighted line.
I think it will print out error because you are supposed to assign 2 variables to the function full, but you are assigning 1 variable.
Okay, that's interesting. Okay, error, right? Error.
Am I right?
All right, error. No, I'm still typing in your answer. Okay,
was error. That correct? I'm not sure.
So, like number 6, line 6 will print out what?
I think it's still the same thing because you are sending in 1. Okay, you're supposed to send 2 variables. You are sending in 1.
All right, error. Line 7.
Okay, to print out odd.
Odd. Okay.
Yes, because you sent 1 value to
line
the
8 will be what?
Even.
Why? Okay, even.
We already have 3.
Why is 7 printing out odd?
Why 7? Okay, the list was empty. Okay, and you sent an empty list to it again. Okay, I don't think I understand that one. You're sending an empty list to a list. I don't get. Okay, yeah, the list is empty, so you're not sending in 1 value, so it's odd. Right. I'm not sure I get that.
Okay, so and the last one will be even, right?
Please say something.
Okay, so let's just print it out and see what happens.
Okay.
All right, so you said the first one is going to be error, but we actually have even odd even. Why do you think that is?
You're supposed to send 2 variables because foo is supposed to receive two variables, right?
Okay, so do you know there's something that is called a default argument?
Okay, yes,
so
I do.
We have a default argument in that function.
Okay, so y is initially empty. It's always going to be empty, even if you don't assign a variable to it.
All right, so that is why we cannot have error. So by the
way,
so
that would be odd.
You've seen the output.
Okay, yes.
So why do you think we have odd, even, odd, and even? Not really. Why do you think the first line is? So the correct answer is odd, right?
Yes, I get that now.
Odd and even. All right. So why do you think you have odd, even, odd, even. Don't you notice something strange?
You assign the one to the list already, so one is already inside and you did not remove it. So when you assign the second one, there are already two values inside, so it's even.
Why? Because when you call a function,
okay,
right? When you call function, you call the function the first time, and you call it second.
Okay.
Do you think it should still have the value from the previous function call? Is that what's supposed to happen?
Since it's a list and it's the same storage location, I think it's still going to be inside unless you remove it from the list.
Interesting. Okay. So I don't want that to happen. What will I do?
Then you can delete you can delete the previous one, the previous entry, I think.
I think I should allow people to unmute themselves.
Okay.
So but please, I don't want noise. Let me allow everyone to unmute. Okay, allow participants. Okay, if you want to contribute, just unmute and talk.
Okay, so I'm not sure I exactly get it though, but I think in line 5 and line 6, it has already checked the length of the list. So that 1 and 2 are the length of the list, and it's only one item in the list, so it's odd. Rather, 1 is odd.
Are you saying 1 is the length and 2 is also the length of what?
Yeah, like the number of items in the list. It's not. Okay.
Yeah. Hello. Yeah. In as much as you call the function again, it will start afresh. It will not add to the list.
So if it is starting afresh, why do we have even as a second output?
Because I don't not meant to be even, because it's just one. It's just one number in the list.
So why is it even?
It's meant to be odd, though. I think so.
What do you think we should do now?
Because anytime you call a function again, it has to be passed afresh again. I don't think the former list will be added to the new list again.
Yeah, but it's adding it, because if I print out y, so if I print out y here, so let's print out y, right?
I think the y.append x is the one performing that function.
So see, now this is the output of y after each append. So you said when the first function was called, there was 1, and of course there's only one item. But the second when the second function was called, it should only have 2, but it's still having 1, and that is why you have. So what do you do? Someone is calling me. Chai. That's why I didn't want to put on mute.
Hello?
Yes, Adeniji, can you go ahead?
Okay, yeah. So I wanted to say, I think it has to do with scope.
Scope, okay.
Sorry, can I answer? Okay. So.
Let's. I think Toby is talking. Let's Toby finish. Or who is talking? I don't know.
Yeah, it's me, Toby. Yeah, so I was looking at the scope. And I think there was this material that I think was attached to one of the tasks on our LMS, and I remember it talking about the different kind of scopes, and there are different times when there are different examples of how your scope went. You have your global scope, some other types of scope. I can't really remember the other types. So I think in this case,
so you're talking like global variables and local variables, stuff like that.
Okay, yes, something like that. So I'm thinking in this case, that's what is affecting the function here.
In this case, y is still like it's in the parameter. It's not a global variable, so it's confined to this function. But when you call the first function and you call the second function, it is still taking like the one from the previous function. All right, everybody is muted. Anyways, so it's like
Hello, can I try?
Okay, go ahead, Prince.
Okay, so the append function, I think it's like in a way it creates a list for every time it appends the value of x to y, and y starts as an empty list. So I think that's basically what happens.
But when we got to line 8, is it still appending? Why is it not appending? Why is it creating? And we're on line 9. The 3 we appended is no more there. Like we just have 2, 3, 4, 4, and before that was appended.
The only thing I can note from line 8 is the introduction of you introduce the empty and a value for an argument for y this time around. So I'm guessing then it's like it has an argument for y this time around.
Mm-hmm.
Can I try?
Go ahead.
Please, can I try?
Yes, Oluwatobi Loba.
Okay. What I suggest is that since on your line 6, you don't specify. So
yeah, go ahead.
it's appending one. It's appending one. So one is already in the array. So when it goes to line 7, it still picks that same array that has 1 in it before. Then it's added 2. Since you did not specify, then it added 2. So that makes it 1 and 2 in the array. Now coming down to line 8, you specify that the array is empty. There's an empty array. So it picks that empty array and works with it. Then on line 9, so you specify the variables in the array. So it picks that and also works with it. I don't know.
Okay, I think I get it now. Sorry. It's the value of y. The value of y is being updated throughout the. So y is an empty list. Y is an empty list. But now we have on line 8, we've assigned y again to become an empty list. And initially it was 1 and 2.
Yeah, but why it's the list, right? For each function right? Each time you call it a function, you should have a new list. Done.
Yes.
Every time the function is created, you should have another list.
Wow, mashallah.
So why is it appending to the previous list? If you have your hands up, you can just go ahead and unmute.
Okay, let me try again.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello. I think yeah. Hello.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think I would like to agree with the last speaker. If we should actually make a very good observation from the function, we observe that the variable y has initially or has already been initialized to be an empty list. And as such, based on the operation of that function to append x value into that particular list, which simply means the very first print statement will actually append that 1 into that list y. Mm-hmm. Then since there is no function that actually erases what is in the list, for the second print function, is going to automatically append that 2 into that previous, what is called now, that previous list. And that is the more reason why we will have 1 and 2. Then for the third print, that initial list we are having has actually been forced to become empty based on the initialization given by that particular, what is it called now?
I understand. So are you saying if I define arguments like parameters in my function, and I call the function the first time, I pass in some certain set of arguments, right? And I call it the second time, instead of it, and I don't want to use the, okay, I call this the second time. I don't want to use this one. How can I do it? Because now when I call it the second time, this one is there. So what is happening?
Okay.
Yeah, you can always
Then,
call it.
then in that case, I think probably a different function should be created entirely. Then they should be referenced separately.
An empty array of y.
You can always call it with an empty list by the side.
Or you always apply empty list by the side.
I don't want to call it empty list.
Can I try?
Please, I'll be your lady, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, I think it has something to do with range.
With
range.
Okay, range.
Yes. So, like, you have 1 the first time, right? 1. Okay. So, like in default, range we start from 0.
Okay.
Are you with me? So, when you pass in the 0, it will be odd since it's 1 variable. So, it will give us odd. But going to the second one, it will pass in 0, 1. Okay. Making 2 variables. So 2 divided by 2, the remainder is 0, which makes it even, I think, sure.
But the 0 is not in the list now.
No.
All right. Thank you all for the effort.
Oh, you don't understand what I'm saying.
Okay. Go ahead, lady. Hello. Oh, we lost her. Anyways.
Yes, I have in my own opinion. Are you listening?
Go ahead.
I believe since y is empty list, I believe the value there will be 0. Since it's an empty list, and for the first one, so since 0 has no value, then I believe it will be 1, since there is no value for y. And number 2, I believe 0 divided by 2, that is 0. I believe so. I
honestly don't understand.
I'm sorry.
And for the third one, we have heard. I believe the case will be like the first one. The case will be like, since the value is 0, then if we append 0 to 3, then we have 3. So and for the last one, we have value for both of them. So there is no problem.
Sorry. I still think it's because whenever you call a function with a specified argument, it will always override. So there's a value of y already. We have a value of y in the first 2 instances. In the first 2 scenarios, we have a value of y already. And the value of y is supposed to be carried along to the next line. But whenever you call whenever you call a function with
let me say y is equals to 3. All right. So what is going to happen? Since you are saying if we do not impute a default value, so let's return x, y. So what do you think will happen
now? Where we're going to have just x, we're just returning x and y.
Huh?
We're just returning x and y.
X, y. I'm trying to show what you're saying is, since we did not impute y in the function call, then it's the variable will not override what is there, right? Is that what you're saying?
No, I said it will override it if we impute an argument. It will override.
But if you do not input an argument, it will not override, Abby.
If we have a parameter, if we specify a value in the parameter, and when we're calling the function, we give it an argument. The argument will override the parameter.
Okay, but if you don't call it, it will not override.
If you don't call it, if there's no argument, if there's no argument, it will give out the value that was in the parameter.
I understand, but we did not call it here. So why is it still printing out the
where
on this line?
On the 8th, on line 10, we created an empty list. Now that is we giving it.
I'm talking about line 8 and 9. You said
8. Yes, line 8. There was no. It had an empty list argument from the. It had an empty list from the initialization. So that is going to be passed as because we have not passed any other argument to it. But once we pass an argument to it for y, it will override any existing thing that we give it in the function or any initial one. That's what I think.
So do you think if I have 3 here, right? I want to, if I have 3 and I say y equals 1. So the first and I return y. So are you saying if I call this first function, I'm going to get 4, right? And if I call it second time, I will get 5, right?
Sorry, let me see. Second time.
Yes.
No, I don't know about second time because we are using append the first time. But we can try it. It's something if I was doing myself, I would have to try. I would have to try it out, but we can try it.
So the output here is 4, 4.
Okay. So that is for the first one.
So why
so
is
that just means y still, yes?
He said it will not override it. It would append it or something. But anyways, so in Python, right, there is something most usually in function declaration, there is something called mutable default arguments, right? So mutable default arguments are like, a list is what is mutable, right? It can change. So when I hope you can all hear me.
Yeah, we can. I can hear you.
Okay. So what is expected to happen is each time you call the function, it is supposed to create a new to define the arguments, like new arguments for each one. But now what is actually happening is default arguments are only evaluated once, right? So what do we mean by default argument are evaluated once? When you call that function, let me return it. So default arguments are evaluated once. That is, this y equals list is a default argument. And when you called it here, it has already been evaluated as y equals. So that is stored. And when you called it the second time, because it has been evaluated already and it's stored, it just continues and appends the next item, right? You understand? So, and now when you are calling it the third time, you specified a list. So you are now telling the program, right, to call that default argument. You're now assigning a different variable to that argument. So now, in a case whereby you are developing and you have such instance, what do you think you can do to avoid such situation, right? So what you just need to do is you set this to none, right? You set this to none, and you check if to is none, if y is none, if y is none. So you set y equals the list, right? And when you do this, you would be able to have like the right results, and your code won't be like, it will have the expected output, because when we called one, we only want one to be appended. When we call two, we only want two to be appended. When we call three, only three, and we want four to be appended. So basically, mutable default arguments are like, yeah, some crazy stuff, and you have to like take note of them when you are coding. So I hope this has helped some people on the call. I saw someone was like, I don't even understand what's going on. As you continue and the more you study Python, you would have more like understanding into all of these things. So that is all from my side for this evening. Thank you guys for participating. If you want to speak, just unmute, right?
All right, thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. We do appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you and good night.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Mr. Femi. Good night.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Femi. Good night.
Thank you, Abbas.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Femi.
Yeah, thank you, boss.
Yeah, boss.
Thank you, Mr. Femi. Good night.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Bye.
Tough.